Okay, crew, first up in our flavor compound series, we have Pyrazines. So if you didn't know this, this is the compound that is found in the skins, the seeds, the stems of a grape, and it causes green aromas in the final wine. So green, think grassy, think vegetal like bell pepper or asparagus or spring pea, or think like herbal or herbaceous, that kind of thing. So we're gonna taste through the reds, and I have three varieties that have the highest concentrations of Pyrazines. So I have two Cabernet Sauvignons. I wanted to get a New World and an Old World representation. We're kind of shifting from using these terms to describe wine, but I think some differences are still pretty evident. So I have a Cabernet Sauvignon from Bordeaux. I have a Cabernet Sauvignon from Chile. We could say we have two different climate types here as well. So you have one is more of a maritime climate that is temperate, and then the other one is more of a warm continental climate. So two Cabernet Sauvignons to compare. Then we have a Cabernet Franc and from the Loire Valley in France. And then we have a Carmenere from Chile. So it's been said that Cabernet Franc and Carmenere have the highest concentrations of pyrazine. So I'm really interested in tasting these side by side and comparing them. And I'm really curious as to your thoughts and what you think as you taste through yours. So please add your thoughts in the comments below. So I'm gonna taste through these wines, and I am going to give you the benchmark notes for each of these wines. So benchmark notes means like the classic generalizations of tasting notes and structure that you're going to find on a wine exam. And then I'm going to give my personal commentary because I think personal notes are also really important to factor in when you're tasting. And then I'm also going to give a little bit of my thoughts on the green scale and how much the pyrazines are showing up in each of these wines. And this will make for a good conversation. Okay, let's talk about Cabernet Sauvignon from Bordeaux. This one is from the subregion of Margaux on the left bank. So left bank is known for Cabernet Sauvignon dominated wines. This has a lot to do with the soil and climate as to why they use a majority of it there. Just a quick tip, as climate is getting warmer, they are starting to use actually more Merlot and other varieties in that area. So the best way to know that your bottle is Cabernet Sauvignon dominant is to look for the kind of honed in subregions. So that means Margaux, Saint-Estèphe, Saint-Julien, and Pauillac. If you look to those regions, you're more likely to get a Cabernet Sauvignon dominant wine. A lot of wines that just say Medoc or even Haut-Medoc are going to be maybe a higher percentage of Merlot. So this is a Cabernet Sauvignon dominant red from the left bank of Bordeaux. Let's talk about it. Oh my goodness, this smells so good. Sight first. So I would call this a medium ruby. Almost wants to be deep, but not quite. On the nose, moderate plus intensity. It smells pretty. There's some floral notes. There's some green notes. The fruit smells really fresh on the nose, and the fruit is both black and red, but mostly black. So mostly blackberry, black cherry, black raspberry, and maybe some black plum. Again, I still think there's a little bit of red cherry on this and red plum on this as well. I'm getting dried flowers, so like a potpourri. The green is showing up more minty in this one. And there's some black pepper. It smells kind of spicy. There's some oak on this one. I'm getting cedar. I'm getting like smokiness. Maybe a touch of vanilla. And then there's some forest floor, and there is some tobacco as well. Standouts, I'd say with this one is like the black fruits, the earth, like that dirt. It's kind of dusty smelling. The peppercorn, the black peppercorn, and like dried flowers, so kind of dried floral notes. The green is there, but again, it's showing up a little bit more minty, and it's not screaming at me. Let's talk about the structure of this wine. So on the palate, dry, and that fruit moves from fresh to tart. Acid's high. Tannin, moderate plus. It's there, it's grippy. Body is medium to medium plus, and alcohol is medium. I'd call this medium. So as far as green notes on this wine, I would say that they're there. They're not screaming at me. They're showing up a little bit more minty, like eucalyptus-like, and I'm getting more like black peppercorn than I'm getting green pepper. So I'd say if I had to put this on a green scale, I'd probably put it kind of somewhere in the middle, maybe leaning a little bit higher. But what do you think? What do you think about this wine and kind of the tasting notes and where the green notes lie? Okay, our next wine is a Cabernet Sauvignon, but this is from a New World region. This is from Central Valley in Chile. This is from Maipo, and this is Mirande Estate Reserve is the one that I am tasting. I'm really curious about this wine because Pyrazines in Sauvignon Blanc tasting that I did showed up really high in the Chilean Sauvignon Blanc. So curious as to how it will show up in this Chilean Cabernet Sauvignon, which I'm sure is known for just riper fruit in general. So let's taste it and talk about it. So this is a, don't know whether to call this medium or deep. I can kind of see through it, but there's not a ton in my glass. I might call this a deep ruby. So deep ruby. Intensity on the nose is moderate, so not as intense as the last line. I'm not getting that like potpourri that I was getting on the Cabernet Sauvignon from Bordeaux. I'm getting more ripe fruit. So very ripe, almost stewed like fruit. Black fruit, blackberry, black plum, definitely mostly black fruits on this wine. There is some green. This again is showing up very eucalyptus-like. So I'm getting some mint, some eucalyptus. It's not as intense as the last wine, but it's there. It's just like them, a little bit of a medicinal smell. So eucalyptus, stewed fruit. I'm getting, there's oak on this wine, there's vanilla, there's some baking spice. I'm getting some like licorice, like some black licorice candy. Cinnamon stick, there's a little spice on this, could be from oak. And then age notes, I'm not getting a whole lot. It smells fairly youthful, although there is that like baked stewed fruit quality to this wine. And I'm getting like more mud, wet grass. It smells kind of stewed to me. It's so ripe, so ripe. Standouts, the stewed black fruit, the black licorice candy. This is like almost herbal, slightly medicinal. And then the kind of cinnamon spice, sweet vanilla thing going on with this wine. Okay, let's talk about this wine's structure. So on the palate, tastes a little fresher than it smells. It doesn't taste like hot or flabby. It doesn't taste like there's too much fruit on it. And it's a dry one. Acid, medium plus. Probably not as high as the last wine. Body's definitely higher, so I'm gonna say medium plus body, medium plus alcohol, and the tannin. This has pretty good tannin. Medium to medium plus. Maybe medium on this wine. So really stand out is that the ripe fruit and the alcohol. So green notes on this wine. Again, Cabernet Sauvignon, I'm gonna put this one right in the middle. It's there, it's noticeable. Again, I know what the wine is. But it shows up as more of this like herbaceous licorice, mint, eucalyptus sort of thing. Not a ton of green pepper, and it's not super pronounced. Like on the nose is medium intensity. It just doesn't show up super intense for me, but it is there. I would put it right in the middle. So tell me your thoughts on your Chilean Cabernet Sauvignon. Okay, next up, we've got a Cabernet Franc. This is one that a lot of people taste the most green in. So again, really excited to taste this and compare it to Carmenere that's coming next. But this is from the Loire Valley. This is from Chinon, and this is from Bernard Baudry, who is a classic producer in that area. So this will be fun to taste. Let's go ahead and talk about this wine. So color, moderate ruby, medium ruby. It's pretty. Ooh, there's a touch of purple to this wine. This is one of those tricky ones that's kind of ruby, almost purple. It kind of trips you up, but I'm gonna call this ruby. On the nose, ooh, I'd say moderate plus. There is green in this wine. There's also a lot of like freshness to this wine, and I'm not getting ripe fruit and I'm not getting oak, which can sometimes cover up or mask those green flavors. So they're standing out. Red fruit on this wine. So red, cherry, raspberry, cranberry, pomegranate. The green notes are there. There's bell pepper on this wine. I'm also getting, and I don't know if it's that I like have more red pepper than green pepper, but I'm getting like red bell pepper on this one. And there's that herbaceousness to this as well. There's a little bit of a mintiness. There is no oak on this wine. There's probably oak on this wine. I'm not getting any crazy intense oak flavors, like no vanilla, not a whole lot of baking spice. I am getting some tertiary or some aged notes, so like wet leaves, forest floor. There's a little bit of leather on this. I'm getting some like funky minerality, so maybe some sulfur, the pencil, graphite, some like pencil lead. It smells kind of funky mineral as well. I don't know if that's not an exam note, it's funky mineral. So standouts, that tart red fruit, the kind of sulfur, pencil lead, and the lack of oak is a standout, and the green. There's a fair amount of bell pepper on this wine. I'm getting red bell pepper, but let me know what you think. Okay, let's taste this wine. So, dry and tart red fruit's still there. And the green notes are still there. They're very present. So acid medium plus, this is not screaming, but it's definitely up there. Body is a lot lighter than the others. I would call this medium bodied for a red. Alcohol, medium, and tannin, medium. Like it's not very grippy. So it's kind of medium down the board, except for maybe the acid's a little bit elevated. Okay, green notes for this wine. They're definitely apparent. Again, there's like a lack of oak and a lack of ripe fruit, so they stand out a lot more. They're not unbearable, but there is some like red pepper. Maybe you're getting more green bell pepper in this wine, and like kind of a medicinal vibe as well. So I'd put this kind of in between medium and high. I wouldn't say that the green notes are screaming at me, but they're definitely way more present than the other ones that we've tasted. So, okay, this is our last wine. This is the Carmenere. So this is one that is higher up on the Pyrazine scale, very green. At least it's been to me in the past. So let's taste it and have some discussion on this wine. This is a Cromas Carmenere Grand Reserve from Chile. So just looking at this wine, it's much deeper in color than the other ones that we've tasted. I would call this a deep purple. You might say ruby, but it's kind of purpley to me. It's very stainy too. I'm just staining the rim of the glass. On the nose, it's very pronounced. The interesting thing about this one is it's very pronounced, but there's also really ripe fruit there. And it's very apparent bell pepper smell. I'm getting like jalapeno, like it's so fresh, so spicy, it's very in your face. And it's all green. You can get some fruit behind it. The fruit's black, so black cherry, black plum. None of those tart fruits, very ripe fruit. spicy jalapeno. I'm getting some like some herbaceous. This looks like dandelion floral to this, but it's not intense. I would say it's just green notes and ripe fruit. So there's oak on this wine, so vanilla, caramel, baking spice, cedar, smoke, all of that. There's a richness on the nose from the fruit and the oak, but the green is still kind of just piercing through. And not a whole lot of tertiary or aged notes. You might get some like forest floor dirt on this wine, but it's mostly fresh fruit, oak, and greenness. Yeah, standouts, right black fruit, green everything, jalapeno, and that vanilla kind of caramel from the oak on this wine. Okay, let's taste this one. So, much great on this wine. Dry, smells sweet, smells fruity, still a dry wine. And dry on the palate. The alcohol is the most apparent in the body, so this is more medium plus to full bodied and high alcohol. I can feel it burn. Acid, medium to medium plus, and tannin is around medium. It's pretty smooth, focuses on the body, on the alcohol. Yeah. Green scale. This is the highest of all of these to me. It smells like fresh cut jalapeno. It is up there on the scale. Curious your thoughts, if you've tasted this bottle, if you've tasted another Carmenere, what your thoughts are on the green notes of all of these wines and where you think they fall. I'll give you my spread again. And yeah, and just what some of your tasting notes and what would lead you to get to these specific varieties if you were blind tasting them. Thanks for doing this tasting with me. It was a lot of fun to line these up side by side and taste them, compare them, think about them. I would love to hear your thoughts, give your input on this lineup. Let me know some specific lineups that you would like to see. We are going to hone in on esters next. So talk about that compound, what wines you're gonna find it in. Hint, it's in all wines, but where you're gonna find the highest concentrations and taste and talk about those next month. So stay tuned. Please leave your feedback and your comments and your thoughts. I love to hear them, and I'll see you next month.